Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and informations on Path of Exile. And I am back from my trip and there's a lot of news to catch up on, so let's get started really quickly. First up, there were Twitch drops, this guillotine death effect for rare monsters when you watched the reveal live stream, so hopefully you did get that in time. We also got some more concept art. This time is for the Liberator of Rayclust art, or rather MTX pack, and you can see a lot of things. Pretty cool, goes down even more, so definitely check that out if you like fan art from GGG, of course official one. And then some information about when the live stream would start, what to expect, and all the kind of things that usually happens when a launch is previewed. And finally we got the actual landing page for the new Dawn of the Ant expansion. Well, I mean, it's pretty much a patch for PoE 2, of course, and you can see the trailer, the content reveal, and, well, a couple of news outlets that we don't really care about. And the official page is pretty good. It shows you like the Huntress, which is the main part of the new updates. It's a completely new playable character, and you can see here a couple of abilities that she has, like jumping in and out of combat, creating tornadoes and all the kind of stuff. You can also click on the other ones and you will be able to see a little different thing. I mean, you can just check this out in-game anyway, so not gonna dwell on that too much. And beside the Huntress, which has her 2 Ascendancy classes, there's also one for the Warrior, which is the Smith of Kitavar, one for the Mercenary, which is the Tactician, and one for the Witch, which is the Leech, and honestly has the coolest name for an Ascendancy we got so far. We also got Raise Spectre gem, which is pretty damn cool, even though it had some problems. And the Summon Roa, finally, it's come after being teased like ages ago. There's a huge number of new support gems, so I mean, you can check a couple here, but you might as well just log into the game and open up the gem menu, and you'll be able to see those as well. And a lot of new unique items too, like the Mjolnir, which got teased a couple weeks ago. We got the Wisps as well, which are basically tormented spivvies in PoE 2. They do work much better, honestly, and they always end up on a rare specific that's been predisposed for that. So I mean, it's definitely better than ghosts, and hopefully they can like make the ghosts work like this, because right now ghosts are terrible in PoE 1. At least for me. There's also new endgame areas like this Fractured Lake. I mean, endgame maps are cool and all, but the endgame system definitely needs some kind of work being done to it. There's also Rogue Exiles, which is a pretty nice addition, and it's been liked by the player base as far as I can tell. New unique storm boxes as well. I mean, stock boxes have definitely been improved. They spawn better, less fog and all the kind of things, but this new unique storm box, or at least there's one unique storm box that definitely seems to be the high chase item, as it drops really good stuff, well, at least compared to everything else. There's a new mechanic, which is the corruption, which you can cleanse somehow, and then you get cleansed maps to clear, and everything leads to being able to get fracturing orbs. With the obvious thing like PoE 1, they fracture one mod, so you can gamble even harder on your item, because we don't have enough gamble yet. There's been a couple reworks on towers where basically they're just less towers, but with a much bigger range, and you can see you can slot up to 3 tablets in there, and these slots will be available depending on how strong is the map that you put when you run the tower, which now have also additional monsters, additional rares, bosses. It's basically an actual map that you might want to run, and you definitely want to run it as high as possible so that you can get 3 tablets. Although the system is still the same as before, where basically you have to get to the towers, possibly find 3 of them overlapping, which is not that common, and then clean them and clean the maps and prepare everything else. I mean, the usual stuff which no one really wants to do, which is very similar again to Sextants in PoE 1, which is a system that has been scrapped ever since, so there probably was a reason for that. There's also new corrupted essences with a boss, as you can see here, which can actually get essence is higher than the greater, so we can see the insanity and the horror here, which has very specific effects. Of course, the game has been live ever since the 4th of April, so we are about 2 weeks into the league now, and yeah, pretty much half of the player base apparently is playing Lightning Spear Amazon, which, I mean, looks cool, so I don't see why not, but I mean, it's not the only problem. Still, there's been a couple, of course, frequently asked questions about the league before it started. So the league is an actual new economy reset, but all of the changes, since there is not a specific mechanic for this league, have been applied to the standard as well, which is kind of weird, but I guess GGG needs the testing to be done in there as well. So yeah, you can choose if you want to play a new character in a new environment or a new character with the older items and everything that you already had. So there's definitely that. And well, there's been a bit of a thing about map portals because GGG wanted to, of course, reduce the map portals. People really complained about having just one and maybe dying. And I mean, you lose the map, you lose the experience, you lose the trade, you lose the progress, you lose everything, you don't gain nothing. That was a bit too punishing, so now GG is trying to fix that. So when you start mapping, you will still have 6 portals, and when you go up with affixes, so the more affixes your map has, the less portals you will have, which, I mean, sounds decently good. Another thing that's actually really good instead is the fact that if you port out to trade or to sell items, so whenever you're not dead, the portal is not consumed. That means that you can run one portal maps and you can still teleport out to make a trade and then teleport back in. So as long as you don't die, you have got a lot of freedom, and that's really, really good. Also, well, I mean, if you're managing your own item filter, which I don't think isn't a good idea with the current implementation of filters, well, there's a lot of things to look at because all of the expert and advanced bases have been renamed to a proper name. So yeah, good luck with that. Also, if you had the chance, there were a couple Twitch drops for looking at Twitch channels streaming PoE2 during the first week, and during the second week you could get the deer, which is basically a pet, and another skin for the roar and the back attachment. Unfortunately, this thing has just ended like yesterday, so I mean, if you had the chance, that was good. The client has been quite big for the update. I mean, it's around 31 gigabytes if you're just updating from scratches, but I updated the game like yesterday and it was already around 40, so the patches are definitely heavy. And well, if you foresee to play the game but you're not doing it right now, I still recommend you patch it regularly so that you don't get like a 50-60 gigabyte patch whenever you want to play, which is going to take probably a little bit unless you have like full fiber. So yeah, that's not for everyone though, so hopefully just keep it patched. And of course, as the game started, we got the usual live updates, which only goes up to day 3, honestly, so I mean, not that far into the league. Mostly because the league itself was decently working, but the real problems are running much deeper in the game, and yeah, they're just not hot fixes like these. So what GGG has been working on some hunter-specific concerns. First one has been introducing a skill to actually get a frenzy charge without parrying, which is definitely a good choice, and also they buffed the speed at which spear throws generally worked, especially Lightning Spear, which apparently just became one of the strongest one-button skills in the game, or at least one of the most used ones because it's easy and it feels good. So GGG should definitely take a look at that skill and wonder why it feels good, or at least much better than other skills. So GGG also reduced some monsters' life by like 25% throughout most of the campaign. Also, they are working on large area sizes, especially in Act 3, and we're gonna take a look at that in a moment. and also preparing some other quality of features, which we'll look at that again. The first one is the changes to the areas in Act 3, and you can see each zone that has been changed here. Most of those just were way too big by no meaning, or way too big because they had something else planned for those zones, but since that thing was not there yet, the zone became way too big for no reason. So these have been kind of reworked, shrinked a little bit, adjusted, and that's much better. Also, they're trying to make it so that when you clear a side zone and you go back to the main zone that connects all the other ones, you don't have to re-clear that one because you took too long to clear the side zone. For now, they're just increasing the timer before that zone resets, but they say they have a bigger change coming up, so we'll see what that entices. For now, we also got a couple other changes. So the sorceress has been buffed a little bit. I don't think many players are playing that either way. A big change to bleed chaos has happened. So first one, very big for bleed because it basically made the Amazon archetype, or sorry, basically the bleed skills for spears unplayable, is the fact that energy shield didn't apply bleed. So if you hit energy shield because you didn't hit life, you didn't apply any bleed. So basically, yeah, that made bleed builds very hard to play. Now, if you hit energy shield, it will still apply the bleed. So that is really good. Due to that, Chaos Inoculation also now makes you immune to bleeding, otherwise you'll be dead in a second. There's a couple other changes to some specific classes and a new support gem which should be in the game, preventing charges from being consumed, which I mean looks pretty damn strong to me. And they've added some artificer orbs to fix the location throughout the campaign. I definitely noticed that, which is pretty good. I don't think dismantling is doing enough work yet, considering the time you have to spend to actually drag all the items from your map to the town all of the time. Also, the Matlan waterways has been reduced with an average of 6 levers less than before. I mean, yeah, that was a very long time coming. I mean, thankfully now it's a thing. And GG is also doing a pass on some monsters due to the speed, because many players were reportedly getting swarmed, and I mean, you are definitely getting swarmed every time unless you are using some kind of curses, and by that I mean using blasphemy, because curses do really have a massive delay now. I mean, they've been killed, so I don't know about that as well. There's also been the new mystery boxes. I don't even know why this news is in here, because we don't do MTXs generally. Still, monster speed changes. What were we looking at is that haste aura can no longer appear on monsters that are already fast, so no more like monkey with speed auras. And also apparently one thing that GG identified as a problem is that some monsters had, well, they could interrupt their melee attack and then just start running at the player instantly. So that chase will be basically relentless. So they're doing a pass of all these monsters here, trying to improve this behavior. And they also nerfed a little bit of bosses like Viper, which is the strongest boss in the game, mostly because you meet her in Act 3 and you do not have any chaos resistance whatsoever at that point, probably. So yeah, that's one fight that's not really easy. And a couple of other minion and player changes, including some crafting changes, which I mean, I wouldn't call crafting anymore at this point, but still, there's been the new Artificer's Orb fixed location drops, so that's pretty nice. It's 12 of those, which is good. And there's new runes as well, like adding intelligence, strength, and dexterity, which I mean, at lower levels can actually help. The problem is that you will have more runes that you drop early game, so you will drop less runes that you actually need. So if you're playing a melee build or any build that uses a weapon, you most definitely want the increase physical damage rune. However, now that there are like 15 types of runes, you're gonna get a lot of random runes that you don't really give a damn about, and you will not get your 15% increased damage, which is I think pivotal to actually getting good items. So yeah, I would think about these changes a little bit more, because they definitely do create problems more than they fix sometimes. There's also charm changes, so basically belts on higher level will have automatically more slots for charms, and that is a given. GG also say they want to improve or increase the charm slots from 3 to 6 cap in the future, so that's also pretty damn good. Stash affinities are coming as well, which is really cool. Other changes that GG has been working on and are probably live by now are, first up, the ability to respec ascendancy classes, and to do so you have to actually complete one trial that will actually give you as many points as the ones that you have in your ascendancy. So if you have all of the points, you have to do the hardest challenges. The fact that they actually caved in to an ascendancy respect is great, at least giving the players some choice, even though it's very boring to do so. And there's a couple endgame changes, like actually adding more rares to towers and hideout maps, so that they are actually a bit more interesting. Although no one cares, honestly, towers seems to be really annoying still, but it's mostly due to the system, not to the tower themselves as a map. And they are trying to buff totems as well, which have been a little bit of a problem lately, like they've been reportedly dying over and over, so that's a bit annoying. And there's also, well, this very weird thing where you can basically do a Discord quest, which I mean is just going on Discord and doing some things. And yeah, you'll get this avatar here, which you cannot even use more than 2 months if you don't have Nitro. This is basically just a marketing thing, and I don't know, doesn't sound too good to me. I don't really care about it. Patch notes, where we actually got the Ascendancy respec and a couple charm changes. Slash affinity is pretty good. Atlas bookmarks, where you can actually bookmark zones on your atlas to actually find them out later, is pretty good. I mean, why not? Could be used on PoE 1 as well, honestly, and I would use it on the passive skill tree as well. That would be interesting. Also, pinnacle bosses now have unlimited response attempts at difficulty 0. It's pretty good. So if you get there and you have a chance of killing it, you do not have to fear losing all your progress. You can just, I mean, get in there, learn the fight, do it over and over until you can actually kill the boss. There's also a couple crafting changes, but then again, it's not crafting, it's just these runes, which now have 3 tiers, are going to stop dropping the lower tiers once you go past some levels. Couple totem changes that we've seen, couple stun changes, which were mostly brought in by the parry mechanic. Because when you parry, you can still get stunned, so if you're parrying a way too heavy hit, you just get stunned to death. And a lot of other random improvements, which, I mean, there's a lot of different stuff here, so you might want to check that out by yourself if you're looking for some specific things. And, well, there's also a bit of a thing about the Xbox game share. Apparently the game was shareable on the Xbox, so you could play if you didn't have an account, and of course there were a lot of bots doing that, so now it's not possible anymore. And, well, I mean, some people probably are going to have problems, but this is obviously a good change. I mean, cutting out bots, definitely a good thing. And, well, we got to do the last update, upcoming plans for the 0.2G, so you can see how many updates they've done so far. And yeah, in a couple, well, probably next week or something like that, GG is looking to look around loots. The problem seems to be that there just isn't enough, and people, well, on the subreddit are going mad about this, but I cannot tell by myself because I haven't played enough if this is way true or maybe a bit exaggerated. Still, they're going to do a couple changes on these. They want to raise the quality of the floor for the drops, so that you still can get something interesting. Then they want to improve the bosses as well, and the drops from these wisps. So yeah, I guess that was all for these week's If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. That was all, I've been your host Giorgio, and I'll see you guys the next time.